I can answer to the question of what did I think of yesterday's series of announcements at WWDC, or the Worldwide Developers Conference. As many of you know, I did stream it live for you guys yesterday. I covered it for Snappy Tech and for the Chromajt viewers. It was for both of you guys. And this video will be posted to both. I'm hoping to get this done for Snappy Tech later today, and for the rest of you also later today, because I got to upload it to both channels. So I've got a page of notes here on my iPad that I took during the keynote. So let's just dive right into it. This might be quite a long video because I'm going to be covering everything they talked about at WWDC. Not in that much detail, but it's still a lot of stuff to cover. So let's get started. The introduction, I thought, was really cool. It really gave a sense of innovation, I felt. The words that they displayed, it really gave it a sense of meaning. To expect change, expect innovation, you know? It was really cool. You gotta watch the keynote. I would play it for you, but I can get in trouble and get my YouTube taken away. So I'm not gonna do that. One thing that I do want to state is that you gotta keep in mind, WWDC is not about consumers. It is about the developers. I am a registered Apple developer, as many of you know. I am working on a Chromajt and Snappy Tech app, hopefully coming out later this year. But it is about developers. It is not about a consumer. And you gotta keep that in perspective. If you thought this was going to be the next iPad or the next iPhone, you're mistaken. This is about developers. So it's going to be software. It's going to be about how developers can better use the tools they are given in software to write their programs and applications. Tim Cook started off by talking about there are 407 Apple stores. And it is a very popular destination for field trips in schools. Which, when I was in school, we took field trips to the library. Yeah. Not that exciting. I would have much rather gone to an Apple store. Moving on. They have over 575 million Apple Store accounts. It's the biggest internet store with credit cards. That's amazing. It's only 5 years old. The App Store is only 5 years old, and it already has 575 million accounts with credit cards. Just think about that. 575 million with credit cards. That's a lot. In total, they paid developers over $10 billion, and $5 billion of that was just in the last year. Wow. And that's 3 times more than across any other platform. It's pretty cool. Anki, A-N-K-I, was there. They're kind of like iOS toys of the future. They're remote control cars, but you control them from your iOS devices, and they actually can think for themselves and do really interesting things. So it's kind of like a video game in the real world. So that was pretty cool. They had a few hiccups in the keynote with connections. Okay, it's hardware, it's software. There are going to be bugs. Not the end of the world. There was a little hiccup. They got it working. It was pretty cool. I loved when it went weapons activated. And it just activated the weapons. That was cool. That was really, really cool. Okay. Mac has a 5-year total growth, 100% versus the PC, which is at 18%. Mac is picking up traction. More and more people are going to Macs. I will very soon be getting rid of this computer and upgrading it to a Mac. I just gotta save a little bit of money. For Apple, and they made this very clear, it is not about making the most. For Apple, it's not just about making the most. Number one customer satisfaction is quality. They are all about the customer sat. For a number one customer satisfaction rating as their goal, that is an awesome goal to have. It's something they have achieved for years. Okay, then they got into Mac OS X. So, I wrote it down here as a note. I love Craig Federighi, who presented the Mac section, and he also did the iOS section. Love him. He did awesome. He was making jokes with the audience. He's witty. He's funny. I love him. He's so funny. So the next version of OS X, he made this joke of we're kind of running out of cats, and he's like, well, we've been doing the lion theme for kind of the last couple iterations. So what about Sea Lion? And just the way he delivered that joke was awesome. I love him. I even wrote, no joke, I wrote it down as a note. Love him. OS X Mavericks is actually the real name of OS X. It's a California theme. I think it's going to be shortened down to MAV. OS X MAV or OS X Maverick. I don't think a lot of people are going to be going around saying, I have OS X Mavericks. Whether that is true or not remains to be seen. They added Finder tabs, the omni-transparent file tags, and better multi-display support. So the multiple display support, basically it's a way to use two screens and just have better management of it. And you can even use an Apple TV as a third display, so that's pretty cool. The Finder tabs, so basically now you can lump all your Finder windows together into one window and just have different tabs. Awesome. Omni-transparent file tags. You can tag things now. Thank you. Thank you. Makes searching for things so much faster. You type in the name of the tag, bam, it's up there. And it shows in the sidebar you can create tags. But they give you some by default. They sync with iCloud, so everything is together. Thank you. They made some big tweaks in power, speed, and responsiveness. Scrolling is now at 60 frames per second in Mavericks. They demonstrated that. Shared links in Safari. Social connection links for browser. Pretty cool. Okay, I gotta lose the hat. Safari schools Chrome. What I mean by that is basically, if you look at all of Apple stuff, they optimized stuff for IE, Safari, and Chrome. They did not optimize it for Firefox. They didn't mention Firefox at all. So, a little interesting there. AppNap helps battery life. So basically what it will do is, let's say you have an animation going on in a web page. And it's a really graphically intense animation. The second you are no longer actively viewing that page, meaning if there is another window covering it, your CPU will drop down. It will not give CPU time to that animation. It might still be running, but it's not going to use that much data to run it, or processing power to run it, because you are not actively viewing that thing. As soon as you move that window out of the way, it goes back to being the active thing. But when it's covered, it's not. So it's app nap. Nice feature to have. iCloud keychain. Think of it like 1Password, or with Google Chrome, you have the password store. Pretty much the same deal. It will store your passwords through Safari. Pretty simple there. Actions in OS 10. Notifications on the desktop. Auto updates in iOS 10, or in OS 10, not iOS. Basically, what they mean by that is now if you get a notification, you can actually reply to the notification. You can do something with the notification besides just see the notification pop up. In Windows 8, that actually kind of bugs me when the notifications pop up because I can't do anything with them. In Mac OS 10 Mavericks, you're going to be able to respond. If you get a text message on your phone, it will show up on your Mac. Bam. You can reply. Get a FaceTime call. You can ignore it. You can answer it. All from the notification without having to go to the native app, which is awesome. OS app notifications can be pushed to the Mac as well. So if you have a notification on your iOS device, it will now be pushed to your Mac. That's pretty cool. Calendar, location, travel time, weather. So they've all been updated, so they're not realistic. Before, notes looked like a legal pad. It doesn't look like a legal pad anymore. It's very simple. They've just made it very simple. Maps on OS 10. Directions can be synced directly to your iOS device. That was a huge feature, and a lot of people went crazy over that one. iBooks on the Mac. If a user already reads on an OS 10 computer, I think that's going to be more beneficial to schools. And quite honestly, if you're a student, that'll be awesome because you're going to be able to take your notes right in class on your laptop using your textbook. Now, if more textbook companies would actually use iTextbooks. Then they talked about the new MacBook Air. They have Intel Haswell. They are available today. So they're going to be faster. That's the big thing. They've managed to increase the battery life from 4 hours to 9 hours, and from 7 to 12 hours on a 13-inch. Airport Express 802.11ac. Kind of an understated thing, but is kind of a big deal. It actually will take advantage of better Wi-Fi signals. They gave us a sneak peek of the new Mac Pro. Looks very nice. It's small. It's cylindrical. Very simple. Very clean. And I wrote this down. When they were talking about the Mac Pro, Phil Schiller presented the Mac Pro. And, I quote, "Can't innovate my ass." It's funny. Pretty funny. Can't innovate my ass, Phil Schiller. Can't innovate anymore my ass. Pretty funny. It's 2 times faster as the previous unit. All expansions are external. Thunderbolt 2. They have a later in this year deadline. It will have a motion sensor, so it lights up the areas. And this might be important to some people. These are 100% made in the USA. Glad to see that as well. iCloud. They've added iCloud iWork. It's in beta, coming soon for all users. It only works in Chrome and Internet Explorer. They did not mention anything about Firefox. So I live in Google Chrome, so it's not the end of the world for me. But it is definitely a big deal for some people. I know some people still use Firefox. But they did not mention it for Firefox. So basically it's Google Docs, but now Apple's version of it. So if you live in iWork, there it is. Okay, now we get into iOS. 600 million devices sold, not just shipped. These are sold devices. Money in Apple's pocket. 600 million devices have been sold. iOS, higher usage compared to Android. No shock there. Less fragmentation for developers. No shock there. If I remember correctly, 93%, and this was the stat I thought was most interesting. 93% of iOS users are using the current version, iOS 6, versus 33% of Android users are using a version of Android that's at least 3 years old. It was made in 2010. Come on, it's 2013. Let's get with the game here. iOS 7 was announced. A lot of you have been wondering, what do I think of iOS 7? I like it. There's one thing I don't like, and that's the icons. They're nice. Some of them. Some of them are, well, bleh. That's right. iOS 7 icons are bleh. iOS 7, you now have a parallax feature based on the motion app's depth. It looked stellar. Literally, you just tilt the phone, and I would demonstrate this on I demonstrated it in my iOS 7 first look. If you tilt the phone, you can see parallax. It looks really cool. The translucency app transitions are smooth, as Apple's known for. I have the beta installed on my phone. Works really well. I've noticed that smooth animations had a few bugs at first, but I realized I had to restore my phone, set it up as new, and I haven't had any problems since then. So, smooth animations. Can't really complain there. There's now a consistent translucency. So, Notification Center, you're going to be able to see the shadows of the icons behind Notification Center. Everything's got a translucency now. It's a common theme throughout iOS 7. The Control Center. Big deal for me and a lot of other people. Swipe your finger up from the bottom. You're now going to be able to get access to your settings. And a lot of people were upset that it wasn't put in Notification Center. But when I thought about it, like, no, it shouldn't be in Notification Center because A, I don't think it would fit. Well, I mean, yes, it could fit, but it would take up space. The space I would want in Notification Center. Number two, when I think of Notification Center, I'm digesting information. People have notified me of this information. It needs to be in one common spot, and that was the idea behind Notification Center. So I think it was the right move to split out the Control Center from Notification Center. Because Notifications, I'm digesting information. Control Center, I'm controlling. Let's see. Multitasking. It is a truer multitasking experience, and it does not drain your battery life. So now you double tap your home button, and you'll get live previews. You swipe your finger up, it will it will close the app. Very similar to what we've seen on Android recently. Safari they had some refinements on Safari, faster scrolling. You now have tabbed browsing in Safari. No more 8 tabs, which for some of us, that's a big deal. I know me personally, huge deal. I have gone over the 8 tabs many times and had to have closed tabs because of that. Let's see. AirDrop. You can now share stuff through those around you. Max, share sheet. It's insane what you can do. You can actually share things with other people. It only works on the iPhone 5. So don't expect it on the iPhone 4S or 4, but it does work. I have a friend with a 5 and he showed it to me. Oh my god, it's awesome. It's so cool. Let's see. Camera, you got live filters. Swipe to change. So the live filters, I don't know. That's what Instagram's for, honestly, or Photo Booth on my iPad. Live filters on an iPhone, I don't know. Maybe some people wanted that, but I won't ever use it. One feature I didn't hear, and I was a little bummed, it still bugs me. When you hold your phone in portrait, why is it recording portrait video? It should be recording landscape. Because, here, turn your monitor for a second. Would you want to watch a video that was recorded entirely like this? Probably not. It's probably not the most fun thing to watch, and it actually kind of hurts my neck, because I'd have to sit and watch everything on its side. Why should I... You can flip your monitor back. Now I'm actually the right way. Why should I have to watch a portrait video? Come on, that's a huge bug. Again, different issue, different video, but... they're now organizing your photos by moments, so they're using the geoloc data to organize your photos. Thank you. So far, it has a Siri got a visual refresh. She did learn local command action, so like change my brightness, or Bing blah blah blah, or what is Chromajt talking about? So things like that. iOS in the car, I don't know if that's going to be through AirPlay integration or what. Might dictate what car I get next. I got a few years to decide that, but might dictate it. So, App Store. They've got new category sortings by age, so parents might like that. Popular near you. So now it will, based on your location, pull the apps that are from the areas near you. And the other one that I thought was pretty cool, and I love this feature. It already did it to me this morning. Auto app updates. Apps will no longer need you to initialize the update. It will do it itself. Thank you. Means that little red notification icon, bye. Never want to see it again. The music app in iOS 7 has been redone. It's got better iCloud integration, and they've added a radio service, so it's kind of the Pandora killer. Notification lock. Notification sync. Meaning that if you clear a notification on one device, it will clear it on all your other devices. Voice FaceTime, so now you can have a FaceTime call without needing the video camera. Thank you. An accelerometer. And user blocking. Thank you. There are people that call me and I don't want them to call. So, block them. Okay. This is one thing that was mentioned. It was kind of understated, but I think it's kind of big. Something they're calling activation lock. A big problem with iPhones is they get stolen or lost. And if they get stolen, a lot of times thieves will try and sell your device to make a quick buck. Problem is, sometimes the carrier will let it be reactivated, even though you're not the one activating it. That shouldn't be happening. So, what Apple's doing to help with this is they're introducing a new feature called Activation Lock. If I wipe my phone with Find My iPhone, or somehow the thief wipes my phone, it will automatically prompt them for my Apple ID and password. And it's not just as simple as just entering in the Apple ID and password, your Apple ID and password. You would have to know my Apple ID and my password to get in. Thank you. To anyone who's, from whoever's gotten their phone stolen, we all say thank you. It's a huge step in the right direction. Carriers, shame on you. Apple, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They talked about 60 frame per second video capture. Barcode scanning was not mentioned, and nor was the 60 frames per second. Really mentioned was kind of understated, if I remember correctly. And this is available for developers today. For everyone else, it will be out later this fall. So, that is my impressions of iOS 7 and the entire WWDC event. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in the next video. I'm out of here. Peace.